Hi, my name is Anthony Mack, and today I'm going to share with you what I've learned from a Coursera course called Learning to Learn. And I'll give some specific examples on learning programming and tennis. The materials in this talk is largely based on the Coursera course that I mentioned before. First of all, don't rely too much on highlighting, because it tends to give you an illusion that you have mastered the material. In research, it says it does nothing for your retention of the material. Another very useful technique I've learned is called Pomodoro, based on having a concentrated study mode. For example, studying in concentrate mode for 25 minutes. This is very helpful for avoiding the problem of procrastination or how to start studying, because often it is quite painful, and it is not that painful to just have a concentrated study session for just 25 minutes. Try it yourself. Another technique is called recall. Often we blindly highlight or just read a textbook or any knowledge and feel that we've learned it, but until you test yourself, you can cover the textbook and you can repeat what you have learned, then you may not have learned. So by recall, you could just simply cover the textbook and then just try to think about what you have learned, or to just repeat out what you have learned. And if you can't do that, then you haven't learned and you can go back to the material. One useful mode of learning is called diffuse mode, and the opposite one is called focus mode. In this diagram, you can see that the diffuse mode is like a pinball in the brain that connect to different part of your brain. And the focus mode is often when you're thinking on a topic which you have highly skilled and you are very focused and can execute each step very exactly. Diffuse mode is helpful because you can make use of different parts of your brain, particularly when it is a new subject or you got stuck in some idea. Then you can just relax, and often by relaxing or taking a walk can allow you to go into diffuse mode. And then you may have a sudden inspiration because it allows you to access different part of your brain. Or go to a shower, often it is quite good to go into a diffuse mode as well. Another related to this topic is the importance of sleeping and interleaving. Based on the course that I've studied, interleaving says that it's much better to spread your learning across different days. For example, if it is a subject that you have problem, it's better to study it 15 minutes for 4 days rather than 1 hour just to cram it in one day. It's much better for memory retention, because while you're sleeping, your brain can slowly absorb the knowledge, and if you cram, often you forget the next day. And sleeping is particularly helpful for those memory relationship inside your brain. While sleeping, it often strengthens and your brain will reorganize your knowledge so that you can recall it in the later much easier. So if you don't have enough sleep, it's harder to learn new things and you have worse performance. Often, a lot of people say it's good to learn by doing, or by practicing, or by repeating. Don't you agree? Particularly if it is sport or some art and craft or any DIY jobs, or how to learn to repair a car. Because humans is living in the material world, so learning by doing gives you context. and repetition can strengthen your learning. Learning by teaching and explaining. Similar to the recall concept, if you can teach someone what you have learned, then it's a proof that you have learned something. And often by teaching and explaining something, you can find out your weakness and what you need to review or to study again. By relating to your existing knowledge, or to think about some metaphor for what you have learned, it will also strengthen your knowledge and help memory retention. Because the brain is a group of connecting neurons, if you can relate what you have just learned to your existing knowledge, then it will be better integrated to your brain. Also, if you can think about some metaphor, particularly funny ones, for example, you can relate it, for example, tennis or any other racket sport. Often, many racket sports have many similar techniques. So if you can relate them, you help them to understand them and better to remember the knowledge. It is good to skim or to scan a textbook, and because the reason is it gives you a high level picture, and later on it will help you to study the remaining chapter much better, and you can quickly skim to find out which part is interesting, so you can create a mental map. And it's perfectly alright to just to select the chapters which is interesting to you, because life is too short. Finally, I'd like to present some interesting results on learning on for example,